The St. Louis Cardinals, fresh off a series win over the New York Mets, a big series win. They sweep the doubleheader on Sunday with a pair of one-run victories, 6-5 in Game 1 and 5-4 in Game 2. Lots to like about that series. We have a recap available for you on The Athletic where we break down three pivotal performances from Michael McGreevy, Jojo Romero, and this guy right here. How timely is this episode? Welcome back to Cardinal Territory. I'm your host, Katie Wu. And a few weeks ago, I asked you all to drop in the comments any player or staff interviews you'd like to see here on Cardinal Territory. And the overwhelming favorite was Victor Scott II. So here he is. We are a podcast of the people here. Vic, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Of course. This is a timely episode because you were all over Game 2. Defense, offense, one of, I think, the best complete games we've seen from you so far. Lots to talk about. I know there are a ton of fan questions here, but I want to break down what I thought was one of the best catches I've ever seen in person. Now, the Cardinal rule up at the press box is no cheering, right? No cheering from the media, but we are allowed to have reactions. And very rarely does every writer in the front row audibly gasp and have a reaction when a play is made. All of us were stunned. Off the bat, we felt like that home run was gone, but we watched you go back to the track. And it's cool when you watch a player every day because you kind of get a feel for when they know that they can make a play. And you can kind of see their body language as they're tracking. You're looking for the wall. You're planted under the ball. And all of us kind of held our breath like, oh, he's going to do it. And then you did. And we were speechless. Walk us through that play. It's so exciting.
Oh, he's going to do it.
That was literally what I was thinking.
Yeah, that play definitely ranks up there for me. Either first or second. I mean, especially at this level. But off the bat, I'm thinking I got to get to a spot. That's ultimately what's going through my head. There is just I have to be able to get to a spot here, be able to put my head down and run to this wall to make sure I have enough space, enough clearance to be able to jump. Because the last thing outfielders want to do when they have like a home run robbery attempt is get to a wall and then jump into the wall. So I just wanted to make sure I got to that spot to be able to have enough clearance to be able to jump without hitting the wall on the upside of it or going up. So
yeah, well, mission accomplished. We can't show video on this podcast, but all you need to do if you want to see this catch that Victor Scott made on Sunday to rob the Mets $756 million man, just go on social media. It's all over the place, and rightfully so. It was really cool to see. All right. Victor, when we were talking yesterday, you just mentioned now that play was either one or two for you. Can you think of, there goes that light that I was telling you about. Can you think of your top three favorite catches at the major league level? Do any come to mind?
I'll probably say, so if I had to rank them, I definitely say yesterday's was number one. And then I'd have to go with the one against Jackson Merrill last year, running into the wall. That was pretty. That was nice. That was nice. And then the number three, maybe the one I made probably earlier this year, and I did like the little swimming thing.
Yep.
I don't know. Don't ask me what I'd be doing out there. I just have fun, but that's probably number three for me.
But isn't that like the point? One thing that I've noticed about you this year, and we talked about it yesterday, is you seem to be playing such an assured, authentic version of baseball. Like you are going out there and you're playing yourself. You're unapologetic. Like this is my style of baseball and I feel comfortable enough to do this. And it looks like you're just having a ton of fun. What goes into that?
Yeah. A lot of it is just like my upbringing and how I just kind of grew up and playing the game. Was a guy who has personality, and I want to be able to show that on the field without doing too much, of course. But when I do something cool, it's fun to kind of do something. I don't know, like a facial reaction, or just like do like a little swim, or I don't know. I just like to have fun out there and play free, to be able to make plays for the pitchers, to be able to steal bases on our offensive side. Sorry, there's a tongue twister there.
I got you.
But yeah, just being able to express myself on the field and have a little fun with it.
Yeah, we definitely see it. We talked a lot with Ollie Marmol through the spring, and you, as we started the season, about how you came into spring training and this season convicted in your beliefs, and you honestly worked your ass off, and it was apparent from day one how much you believed in yourself and how much you were committed to winning the center field job. Maybe not the easiest spring, because you were informed on the final day of spring training that you had made the club and you would be the starting center fielder. But for anyone that was watching spring, and this is with no disrespect to anybody else, it was clear that this was your position and you had won this battle. When we talked to Ollie about this, and when we talked to you, you both have been very candid about the routine and the preparation. And that starts all the way back in the off season. Yesterday, when we were talking to Ollie after the game, he mentioned that your routine starts way before you get to the ballpark. Can you walk us through your daily routine that helps you feel so locked in?
Yeah. So for starters, it honestly starts like with me, my mom, and then God. That's like the connection that we have there. So like she'll send me Bible verses. I'll read them in my Bible before I come to the field. So that relationship that I have with my mom is I don't it's awesome. It's awesome to be able to communicate with my mom like that, and I get to talk to her every day through that. So I feel like that brings me peace. It brings me calmness, and it reassures me that hey, I'm doing the right things, and I'm able to go out there today and perform. But no matter what, I still have this to lean back on. So that has been like my rule number one. I have to do this. It's non-negotiable. I have to do that every single day. So that has helped me throughout this whole process. Also, when I get to the field, like that work is done. And I, depending on like the city, I may go walk around or do whatever, but that has to be done. Like if it's not done, I feel wrong. Like I don't know, something feels off. But then I make sure I go into the weight room, get my body prepped, go over the pitcher, do my hitting routine, talk to Jay about their pitchers and how I can get better jumps, and do that also with Pop as well. And then go over some defensive things of how I can get better routes, better jumps, things of that nature. Learning the opposing team's hitters so I can be sure I'm in the right positions, and me and Jay are in accordance with how we're moving the off guys. So we go over a lot of those things, and then BP comes after. Honestly, after all those studying tactics are done, BP is there. I mean, then it's you just kind of roll about the rest of the day. And then now, since I've covered especially the first part of that routine, I feel like I can just go out there and play free. So.
You mentioned John Jay, and I know that's someone that you've worked extensively with dating back to the off season. And there are such similarities in your guys' game when he was a player to where you are now in terms of how you attack the day, both relentless, both very tenacious. What is it about Jay? I mean, you guys were locked in since he was hired, that you think has helped you unlock a new part to your game?
Yeah, I mean, he's very attentive to detail, and he told me that early in the off season, like if you want this job, you're gonna have to be attentive to those details. You're gonna have to take charge in your game. So just from that point on, that's when I began to study a lot and take ownership of my game, and become more of a savant, to learn and be willing to take criticism and build from that criticism. But that's kind of like the ongoing relationship that we have. Like he can come to me about anything and tell me like, hey, I think on this play you could have stretched another base here, or I think on this jump you could have done this. And it's never like, from me, it's never like he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's always like, yes sir, like, okay, I'll work on that. And I come to him the next day, all right, how can we better improve this? How can we make this more efficient? How can we make it better?
Feels like you guys really established that trust early on. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, no doubt.
That's awesome. I know John Jay, beloved Cardinal. Your manager, I'll read this quote from his story last night. This is what he said at the podium post game. We asked about your confidence and your play overall. Ollie Marmol said, there's a quiet confidence to him. He shows up. He has a really, really good routine. He sticks to it, doesn't veer from it. The work he's putting in is incredible. There's a focus and attention to detail to what he's doing on all sides of the ball, base running, defense, offense. He's speeding up that development extremely well. And I think anyone that's watched the Cardinals this year would agree. What do you think has allowed your development from year one to year two to really show like who Victor Scott II is as a baseball player?
Yeah. I know like at the end of year one, I wasn't pleased with my performance. And I knew I had more in the tank, but the only way to get that out was going to be to speed up my development. So had that cup of coffee, I knew how certain things worked, and I knew what I needed to go in the off season to work on and be attentive to. So I started hitting with either just myself or with another person. It was Taylor Trammell in the off seasons. But I would hit with my hitting coach back at home, Coach Mike, and we would hit for an hour and 30 minutes. And Coach Mike knows exactly like what to look for in me because he's trained me since I was 16 years old. So we would just communicate about things and go to the classroom, look over my swing and be able to break things down like that. And then I was talking to my dad too, and he has played a major role in this, as my mom, as my whole family, but especially my mom, my dad. But my dad, he's a retired police officer, but he said, "Hey man, whenever you need me there, I'm there." So I call him after every time I come from the gym. I'm like, "Hey dad, I need to go outside, man. I need to go get fly balls and ground balls." And we'd be out there no matter the weather, no matter the circumstances. He'd be out there hitting me fly balls and ground balls, whether it be in this like a super open area or on a turf field somewhere because it was raining. But I wanted to get in every single element that I could that I would be in the season. So I remember one day, like just to tell a short story, it's probably like 28 degrees. It was windy, just not an ideal day to be outside. But I called him. I said, "Dad, like I'm going to be in this during the season, and I need to get out there today." So he was like, "All right, man, I'm coming. I'm on the way. I'm on the way." So he shows up. He's got like Michelin Man suit. He's got on gloves, hat, everything, and he's sitting like we're at like my local high or at the high school I went to. We're at their field, and he's just peppering balls off of a tee. And then he'll hit the whole bucket. So it's probably about 70 balls in there. So it's 70 additional routes that I'm getting. But he never minded that like to put in that work with me. So I feel like that was a major instrument in my off season. So then I know this was really long winded, but
Oh, this is great.
then like Willie McGee last year, he said, in order to speed up that development, you're gonna have to study the game. You're gonna have to study old players as well as current players. So begin to do that. So he helped me out in that aspect as well, just noting, hey, look, this guy, this is how he did it back in the day. Maybe take a page out of his book and be able to implement that in your game. So all those things, but these things that I had to take ownership of and say, look myself in the face, look myself in the mirror and say, okay, if I want to write down these goals and I want to accomplish these things, I'm going to have to take ownership in this stuff that is not ideal to do. I'm going to have to do it. So that was kind of the sacrifice that I made to myself and how I went about my off season to prepare myself for this season.
I love how you speak about your parents there. And you ever think about how cool it is? I mean, you're 5-6 years old and your dad's hitting off the tee to you, right? And now here you are, a Major League Baseball player in your early 20s. And it's still the basics. It's still, hey, dad, I want to go to the park. I want to hit, or I want to go track balls. And your parents are still there to do that. How important is your relationship with both your mom and your dad to where you are right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's they are when you kind of get into something and you ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why do I show up every day? Why do I do this? For me, they're my reason why. Like God being number one, and glorifying His name, but also my parents are my reason why I do this, why I put forth the effort every day, because it was many times that, and I know everybody says this, but many times that they have made a ton of sacrifices to get me to where I am now. So if it wasn't for my mom pushing me through to graduate college, because she's real a stickler about education. She says like education is power. She says that all the time. But she made sure like, hey, you're finishing this degree. You're finishing what you started. So she helped me through that. My dad always through sports, being able to call me. Sometimes he'll call me and be like, "Hey man, like you need to do this or you need to do that," and I'm like, "Ah, Dad." But in some form or fashion, he's right. So like at this point, I just yes sir, and we on to the next thing. But no, to sum it up though, they're my reason why I love them so much, and they help me out with anything that I need. So kudos to them.
That's great stuff, Vic. I love hearing that. We'll get back into it. We'll talk a little bit about the camaraderie of the Cardinals clubhouse, but very quickly, let's take a quick break and hear from our friends at Hungry Root.
If you want to be bougie and have your own personal shopper, Hungry Root is actually the spot, and you can do it at an affordable price.
Yeah, without a doubt. And especially with my busy schedule with kids on the run all the time, baseball, gymnastics, I need a source that's going to get me going and my kids as well. So I'll pop in an easy chicken parm or grilled chicken, put it in a nice container, get it to go, and the kids are excited, and they're full, and they're nutritional, and it's ready to rock for their games.
There will be snacks that you have never heard of that you will immediately fall in love with. They will pick them out for you if you want. Obviously, you can go on there. You pick all of your preferences. Hungry Root gets the job done. Okay, FT fam, we love Hungry Root. Take advantage of this exclusive offer for a limited time. 40% off your first box plus a free item in every box for life at hungryroot.com/FT. That's code FT. hungryroot.com/FT. Code FT for 40% off your first box and a free item of your choice for life. The code is simple. It's 2 letters, FT.
All right. So I'll preface this with, in my 5 years covering the Cardinals, I've never once felt like I've had a bad clubhouse, right? I feel like every year, dating back to 21, it's been super professional. The guys have been great. And yeah, at the end of 2023, a little rough just because things weren't going great. But even then, the professionalism was awesome. 2025, I think, might be my favorite clubhouse, though, because the energy is always great. A ton of pros in that room. And even though April, there were some highs and some lows, I felt like everyone was super consistent and super steady. So why don't we let the viewers of the show in on a little bit of the clubhouse chemistry? I'm going to ask you a couple of rapid fire questions about your teammates. Feel free to throw under the bus. It's totally fine.
All right.
All right. The teammate you hang with outside of the field most often, who is it and what do you guys do?
I would have to say either I'll go with Jordan. I hang out with Jordan and Mason. I mean, we'll walk, especially in Cincinnati, but we walk home after games, talk about whatever, and then we'll be able to hang out afterwards. Whether I watch them play video games, we all play video games, or just hanging out, the camaraderie. I feel like it's definitely there with those two guys.
I knew you were going to say video games, which is the perfect segue to my next question. Are you one of those players that brings your like PS5 on the road?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
But the thing about that is I got to set limitations on myself. So if I have a day game, I got to make sure that I'm off I'll play a couple of games of Fortnite or whatever, and I got to be off of it. Like I have to make sure I'm laying down in the bed at a certain time, because if I'm not, like my brain just keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
It never quiets down. So I have to make sure I am disciplined with those things.
Discipline with Fortnite. Got it. Okay. Is there a game that you all play against each other? Like, I don't know if it's the show, if it's 2K, like, is there one that you're like locked in on against your other teammates?
Definitely say the show, but I will say it is easier to hit in real life than it is the show. I know it sounds crazy unless I'm just terrible at the show, but like, I definitely think it's easier to hit in real life than it is the show. I don't know.
So, okay, I don't play a ton of video games, but my brother and I, like, we'll play the show against each other. We haven't in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear he throws like a perfect game against me every time. And I'm like, I can't be this bad. I can't, this has to be the game. And we'll put it on like the easy settings and still no, I'm like, I'm terrible. So I agree with you. I think it's very hard to hit on the show, but I'm no video game expert. Unless Super Smash Bros, you do not want to see me on that game. Who's the best? And do you play as yourself?
I have before, but lately I've been playing My Career on that, or not My Career, but Road to the Show.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I've been messing around with that and trying to get him better, but he's not really getting anywhere.
So, all the progress to the real version, the Major League version, and the video game version. Okay, let's see. Do you have a favorite road city? And then for the stadiums you haven't played in yet, which one are you looking forward to playing in the most?
Favorite road city. I like San Diego when I went there last year. The Dodgers was pretty sick just to be in that ballpark. What's the city? I'd probably say the Rangers or the Astros. I know both are in Texas. I haven't been to the Astros, but I played our Big 12 championship was in Arlington. So I played in there before. I would like to play in there as a big leaguer.
Got it. Well, we got that at the end of May, right?
Mm-hmm.
Coming up. We just got to get through this first the Pirates, and then we have a 3-city trip. Once we get through that, then we can focus on Texas. What's the stadium that you've liked the most that you played in outside of Atlanta? I'm sure that was such a crazy series for you.
Yeah. You took my answer. No, I'm just kidding.
Stand.
I'd have to put Atlanta at number one, just because I played in that park as a 16-year-old in like an all-star game. I was a little string bean of a kid, but I played there and then had like my family cheering for me. So it was like kind of like a full circle moment to have that kind of moment and then be there as a big leaguer as well. Having my family cheer for me too. So definitely that park because of memories and just because I live very close to that area.
And not only did you play there as a big leaguer, you also went off that series, 2 separate 3-hit games. It was fun to watch. And you had about 50 people or so at that park, right?
Yeah, that was a lot of people, there asking for tickets and all sorts of stuff. But I loved them though. I love them.
That's how you know you made it, when you got crowds of people like, I know him. I want to watch him play. That's good to see. You guys have a lot of athletes on your squad, specifically your pitchers. Like, I'm never worried on a PFP play, no matter who it is from the starters. At least I'm never worried. I feel like that out is gonna happen. But if you, objectively the fastest person on the team, had to race someone in a 100-yard dash, who's giving you the biggest challenge?
Let's see. I'll probably Mason. Mason's pretty quick. Who else got some wheels on him? Maybe, I don't know. Probably Mason.
Mason.
Probably
Okay.
Mason. I think I don't think anybody else would get there with me, but Mason be right there.
Yeah, he'll give you a run, but you're beating him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't tell him I said that. All right, we'll get right back to it. A couple more things for Victor Scott II, but first a quick message from Roback.
FT fam, we're excited to introduce you to Roback with the subtle dog logo and 2 stripes on the back of every product. Kratz, what are you rocking for us?
I'm rocking the polo, which never feel like a t-shirt until now. Out on the course, I'm going to stay cool, and as much as I sweat, I won't be wet.
Use the code FOUL on Roback.com for a generous 20% off your first purchase. That's FOUL on RHOBACK.com. 20% off all shirts, hoodies, polos, and more with the code FOUL.
All right, so we're over a month into the season. April felt both like the longest month and also the quickest month at the same time. I think that might just be baseball in general, though. There are some highs from this team, some lows, but honestly, for where you guys are at on May 5th, coming off a big series win over the Mets, playing really well at home, I think there's a lot to like about this club. What do you like about your team?
I like the ability to be relentless. I feel like is a good word for this unit. I mean, everybody comes to the clubhouse and day in and day out does their routine, does whatever they have to do in order to feel prepared, and you can tell that it's what they do. Like, everybody individually has something that they need to achieve before they go out and play to help them feel a certain way, and it seems to happen nearly every single day that we show up. So definitely proud of this team's like relentlessness, and then the energy that we can bring.
We talk a lot about your improvement and where you are as a player. Is there a teammate of yours that when you're watching them play, you're saying, yeah, he's figuring it out, he's getting better, I'm really encouraged by this? It doesn't have to be one, it can be multiple.
Yeah. I mean, definitely I would have to say Jordan for sure, because I worked with him in the off season.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had conversations about like mentality, all those things, to be able to help ourselves increase development and help increase the mental side of the game and things of that nature. But I've seen him handle the highs and I've seen him handle the lows, and I feel like he's remained consistent through those things and never gotten too down on himself when he is low and never gotten too high on himself when he is up. So I definitely feel like Jordan. I would keep rattling guys too. Newt Barr has been an awesome teammate. Definitely high energy, brings the laughter as well. He's just a great guy. Comes to the field every day and is ready to work, is ready to be ready to showcase kind of the abilities that he's been showcasing throughout his career. Nato, a great guy to look up to with routine and how persistent and convicted he is in that routine. Wilson, same way. Those are guys that I come to the ballpark and look at them and say, okay, these guys have been here for a while. This is how they do it. Maybe I could take a few pages out of their book and say, okay, this is how they done it, and they're here for this long. Then maybe I should be doing the same thing within my routine to have that conviction as well.
I love that. One of my favorite little moments of the season so far was, I can't remember what series it was, but fly ball to right center. Jordan Walker calls you off. He's like, no, this is mine. And you give him this look like, you serious right now? And then you guys are laughing. I just thought that was so great for Jordan. I mean, his confidence out there is so much better too. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. So, like in communication, like we'll talk before each pitch. Like I don't know if you guys can see us a lot, but like I'm pointing, I'm directing. I look like one of the guys who directs the airplanes and stuff. I'm just pointing everywhere. But with Jaywalk, like sometimes like we'll make like laughter of Jay sometimes because he's out there like, and if we don't look at him for one pitch, like he's on us, he's on us, and I love the account. Like he's holding us accountable, and I love that. But like sometimes he'll just flip us signs and get us moving, and then I'm looking at him and I'm looking at Jaywalk, and we're all moving out there. But on this particular play, I told Jaywalk that I had that route, and then Jaywalk like normally like I don't scream I got it. It's a lot for me to like process in my, I don't know, it's weird. But Jaywalk doesn't scream I got it either. He just screams. But I say like yeah. Yeah, he just screams. He just like ah, and then I'm like yeah, like the whole time. So he's running, and I start with like my saying, and then he starts calling. And I'm like, wait, I thought I got priority out here. Like he did. He calls me off, so I let him have it. I just started looking at him, and I started laughing because he turns around. He's like, yeah, Vic, yeah, Vic. And I just started laughing because I just thought like, oh man, this is what baseball is supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun, to be able to go out there with the utmost confidence and say like and call me off is crazy, but I love the confidence, and I can't do nothing but applaud him for the work that he's put in throughout this whole journey, to be able to get out there every day and go work on something. So I feel like he's done an excellent job.
I love that you guys have your little language out in the outfield. That only makes sense to you. I think that's something that just gets lost on people. Like you work with the same outfielders every day. You know their how they call for how they communicate. How does Lars communicate? First of all, I feel like I know because he's so loud. I could probably hear him from the press box. But what's his style of communication? And Donnie too.
Yeah. I mean, most of the time they say I got it. They say I got it. But the Lars is pretty funny because he'll like he's always like tongue out. Always tongue out. I don't know if that like helps him steady his eyes. I have no idea. But he's always tongue out. So like every time he makes a play, like I either stick my tongue out, like looking at him, and I'm like, hey, we got one. And I'm like, eh. Because I'm like, why is your tongue always out your mouth, bro? Like, golly. But nah, he's great though. He's great out there. He's a confident, has always been a confident outfielder. But he's fun to play with as well as Donovan. I mean, that guy's got a Gold Glove for a reason. So he makes a lot of great plays, second base, left field, wherever you put him on that diamond. I feel like he's going to make a play somewhere.
Love that. I'm gonna be looking for you guys this series against Pittsburgh on how you all communicate and see what that's like. Let me see if I can pick up on when you guys can read each other. Before we go though, we have to give the plug. We have to give the plug to Argo. You dropped an album last month, right? I feel like for those of you who do not know, not only is Victor Scott II one of the most exciting center fielders in baseball right now, he's also a certified artist, verified on Spotify, just dropped an album, Not Your Average Rapper. Tell us about this project, and you got to tell us your favorite song. You have to pick one.
Yeah, so I make music in the off seasons mostly, but this project I call it Not Your Average Rapper because it just made sense. I don't know, the title of it was like, Not Your Average Rapper is a pretty good title. The cover art for it was spot on, because it was like in a museum, and then you just see like this big painting that just says like Not Your Average Rapper, so it stands out. But favorite song on this project, I got a couple of them, but I'm gonna have to go with maybe Him or Pray for Flowers. Those two songs right there are Count on You is also a really nice one, but either him or Pray for Flowers. Him, if I'm like pumped up and I'm ready to go. Pray for Flowers is just like a good, easy listen.
All right. So which one's your walk-up song again? Remind me.
Boxers the Poodles. It's not on this album. I released it
Right.
a long time ago. But yeah, Boxers the Poodles.
How cool is it to walk out to your own song? That is big time. That's big league for sure.
Yeah, that one in Sexy Red. So I just keep him in rotation.
Collab with Sexy Red. You should. That'd be so St. Louis.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, yeah, you can stream Not Your Average Rapper, available on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcast. Vic, this has been a ton of fun. I know fans have been asking for you really since we launched this podcast, so it means a lot to me that you would make some time out of your very busy schedule to do this. Thank you again so much.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Quick housekeeping. Cardinals, Pirates, 3-game homestand before a 3-city road trip. You'll see the exact same pictures you saw when the Cardinals played in Pittsburgh. You'll see Carmen Mlodzinski today against Matthew Liberatore. Paul Skeens, who the Cardinals have apparently figured out, go figure. And then Mitch Keller, the series finale on Wednesday. Bernie Makeless and I will be back with you middle of the week for a series recap there. Thanks as always for watching Cardinal Territory. It's been super fun with you guys. Should be a really exciting week of baseball in Cardinals land. For Victor Scott II, I'm Katie Wu. Thanks as always for watching.